Hello everyone, and welcome to the first installment of Tennis Bros News.
Today we will be covering a topic that has been debated for decades. Who is better, the Swiss maestro, Roger Federer, or the king of clay, Rafael Nadal?
Today we are taking these two legends and putting them head-to-head against each other. We have compiled 14 categories to compare Federer and Nadal in, ranking them on a scale of 1 to 10 in each category.
Then we'll add up all their points and see who comes out on top.
So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. As you can see, our following categories take into account both players' strokes as well as other factors that have allowed them to dominate the game. Shot selection isn't included here since we will talk about each player's shot selection with each of their strokes. First off, let's start with the forehand. When it comes to effectiveness, Federer's forehand ground strokes are virtually flawless. Against top opponents, Federer has an effectiveness score on his forehand side of 99%. Also against top opponents, Federer gets a forehand ground stroke 45% of the time in rallies, and one of those every 6 shots wins him the point. He is able to put the ball anywhere that he wants to in the court at almost any time, even when he barely gets to a ball. This allows Federer to deceive his opponent, often hitting to places that his opponent wouldn't think that he'd go to. This is evident by Federer's numbers, as for the majority of his career, Federer has averaged 12.4 forehand winners and only 7.6 forehand unforced errors. That's nearly 5 more winners than unforced errors. Meanwhile, Nadal uses his forehand to torture his opponents by hitting with tons of heavy topspin that forces his opponents to give him short balls that he can crush. In fact, Nadal's forehand has the most topspin of any player on tour, making the ball bounce way up out of his opponent's strike zone. His forehand racket speed clocks in at 55 revolutions per second, while Federer's clocks in at only 47. He can go for hours on end and hardly miss any forehands, simultaneously crushing his opponent's strokes and spirit. It's obvious that Federer and Nadal have some of the greatest forehands of all time. However, we put Federer's forehand slightly over Nadal's. This is because Federer's effectiveness score on his forehand side is the highest in the game, making his forehand the most dangerous in all of tennis. While Nadal's forehand is incredible, he just can't do as much with it as Federer can, relying mostly on his strength. Also, while Federer averages 5 more winners than unforced errors on his forehand side, Nadal's averages for his forehand side are about the same. For this reason, we gave Federer a 10 and Nadal a 9.9.
Federer and Nadal's backhand are extremely different and brutal. Like his forehand, Nadal uses lots of topspin, while Federer hits a flatter ball and doesn't use his backhand as much. This is because of Federer's use of slice and the fact that he runs around his backhand whenever he can because he knows how good his forehand is. Federer's one-handed backhand is the only one in the game that has greater effectiveness against top opponents than the best two-handed backhands. Also, Nadal has an effectiveness score on his backhand side of 91%, while Federer has an effectiveness score of 99%. Meanwhile, Nadal's case for having the better backhand is his backhand potency. This metric takes into account all of the player's errors, winners, and errors forced. It's not perfect, but it's a good metric. Federer has a backhand potency of 0.2, while Nadal has a backhand potency of 1.7. This shows that while Federer's backhand is pretty good, he doesn't use it as much as Nadal and has lower potency, proving Nadal's backhand is constantly better than Federer's. You can't only look at one metric to compare players' backhands, but the backhand potency metric shows us that Nadal can constantly rely on his backhand, while Federer relies more on his slice. However, Nadal and Federer have averaged similar stats for their backhand, which puts Federer's backhand pretty close to the level of Nadal's. We still have to give this section to Nadal though, giving Federer a 9.3 and Nadal a 9.6.
For Federer, his slice backhand has become a staple of his game. He routinely mixes it in with all of his other shots, which helps in keeping his opponent guessing what shot he is going to hit next. And it is so effective that he hits his backhand slice about as much as he hits his normal backhand. His slice also averages about 5,000 revolutions per minute, which is 1,300 more revolutions per minute than Nadal's slice. This amount of backspin destroys any rhythm that Federer's opponent had, and is a lethal weapon in his arsenal. Meanwhile, Nadal's slice is an amazing weapon that he can use anytime that he wants to, whether it's for offense or defense. He has great reach and uses his slice accordingly to change the pace of the game. His slice is also a large reason why he has been able to adapt to other surfaces besides clay. This is because his slice adds a layer to his ground strokes, so that he can either keep the ball extremely low with his slice or extremely high with his topspin. Overall, Nadal's slice is a good mix-up, but it doesn't have the same effect that Federer's slice does. Those extra revolutions per minute create backspin so nasty that some players have openly expressed their frustration when facing Federer's slice. Also, in my opinion, Federer is in contention for the greatest slice of all time. For those reasons, we gave Federer a 10 and Nadal a 9.2.
Federer's net game is one of, if not the greatest of all time. Once he gets to the net, he is in total control. He consistently comes up with breathtaking drop shots at the net, and can hit his volleys and overheads wherever he wants to. And on the rare occasion that he isn't in control at the net, he comes up with amazing volleys and half volleys that just go over the net because of his touch and finesse. He also has so many options at the net that it's hard to guess where he is going, which makes his volleys and overheads even scarier. Nadal's volleys have improved a lot over the years, and this is partially due to his doubles play. He has won 8 doubles titles and has been ranked as high as 26th in the world in doubles. This has no doubt improved his net game. Recently, he is getting to the net more and has one of the best success rates among top players when he does. More recently, he even had a better percentage of winning points at the net than Federer. He also has a great overhead, just like Federer. Nadal's volleys have been extremely reliable for him over the years, and any opponent that sees him coming to the net should say their prayers. However, even though recently he had a better winning percentage at the net than Federer, Federer comes to the net 3 more times per match than Nadal and still wins more points than Nadal at the net. Plus, Federer is 5 years older than Nadal. Federer's touch and finesse at the net gives him a slight edge over Nadal, winning 9.9 to 9.7.
Federer has one of the most accurate serves of all time, with an amazing mix of power and accuracy. Last year, he had the lowest amount of breakpoints faced at 30-40 out of all the players in the top 5. He also has the 7th highest winning percentage all time for holding on break points, while Nadal is ranked 10th. Lastly, Federer is ranked 3rd for the most aces ever, while Nadal is ranked 65th. It's not that Federer is blasting the ball like some of the other players do, it's because of his placement and his power that his serve is so good. Nadal used to have one of the weaker serves on tour, especially for a top player. It wasn't a liability, but it also wasn't something that his opponents were afraid of since it was attackable. However, Nadal has put a lot of work into his serve. raising its speed by 12 miles per hour in just 1 year. Nadal has improved his serve so much that now he has a server rating only 1 spot behind Federer's for 2020. Right now, both Federer and Nadal have some of the most feared serves in the game. However, we are comparing both players' whole careers, so we have to consider the beginning of Nadal and Federer's careers as well. If we are comparing both of their serves right now, it would be pretty close, but when we're looking at their whole careers, Federer's service rating is 8th all-time, while Nadal's is 16th. I also feel that Nadal's ranking is a little inflated because the serve rating takes into account the whole point played on a player's serve, not just the player's serve. Because of these reasons, we gave Federer a 10 and Nadal an 8.7. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to us, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to let us know if you want more. We will be coming out with a part 2 video soon, so if you enjoyed this video, then stay posted for the next one. And if you want to, then leave your comments down below about your opinions on this topic or about what videos we should do next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.